actually impact a lot. Like for example, when we have one farmers, it actually helps the entire family, not only his family but also his sister family, his brother's family. So that's also one of our main agenda. So we're trying to calculate those impacts, and then hopefully by the end of this year we will be able to publish this sustainability report from our side. And then actually talking about the sustainability, one of the unique traits that we see in Islamic finance is people are more loyal to our way in doing things, to our product. I can say that around 50 to 60% of our users, for both the funder and then the borrower in our P2P platform, they came back again and then want to try the product again, because the way we do the collections, the way we do the way we connect with them, it's actually according to the Sharia ways, and then it really supports our beliefs in the sustainability. So yeah, I think that's one of the examples. And then ultimately, actually, we try our best to include this agenda, the sustainability agenda, into our company core value. We even have one KPI, one target related to that sustainability. So I believe, like a bottom line, I believe if we do the Islamic finance in the right way, it's basically supporting the sustainability report. So I mean, I've read a lot of a report about how Islam is actually supporting that, and then yeah, and I think we really support that movement.
Yeah, I think and clearly there's a very interesting thoughts, because most of the developments right now we see are mainly on the, let's say, the capital markets, but also the banking segments. And as you mentioned, there is need for harmonization in terms of how to report on sustainability, because a lot of companies and even a lot of institutions are now, even though integrating sustainability objectives in their activities, sometimes the issue is how to report on it and how to harmonize the reporting tools, as you mentioned. And one of the clear objectives is actually to attract a growing investor base of SRI investors who actually care about the impact of their investments. And that brings me to an interesting question about your business model, actually, because we did introduce you as, your company as Alami, which has been doing very well recently, and in the peer-to-peer lending. And we've seen also in Indonesia that there is a growth of Islamic fintechs, actually, and there is an interest also in peer-to-peer lending, not only among the millennials, I believe, but among other segments of the population. So can you tell us more about the business model of Alami? Yeah. And what are maybe any future prospects or projects that you have in the pipeline, if that is not confidential, of course?
Okay, sure. Thank you for the question. So actually, currently we have one of our products that we have right now and running pretty well is the P2P lending. So we provide a marketplace for people that need financing, and then we also provide a platform for funders that want to invest their money, right? So we kind of act like a marketplace, and then doing some matchmaking, so they can meet each others. So in the way we do business, so basically we have mobile applications and then support mobile application and then the desktop product. So we have a lot of software engineers. So 50% of our employee or talents are engineers. So we are basically Sharia-driven fintech, and then Sharia first is our core value. So currently, up until now, I think we have disbursed the financing to almost $60 million, since 2019, and then actually our achievement in April is actually way bigger than the entire 2019 financing disbursement. So it can really shows that the business is doing pretty well. and the demand and the growth is also very significant. And then on top of that, beside doing the P2P lending, we also have something in our pipeline. So we just acquire a bank actually, and then one of the mission is to we want to kind of like do some magics, and then build a leading challenger bank, leading Sharia challenger bank in Indonesia or maybe Southeast Asia. So that's actually our next play. And then basically it makes sense to our business because when we have the bank, we will have like the funding side, right? I mean, in the P2P lending, it's more into the financing play. But when we have the bank, we will have the other side of it, which is the funding. So inshallah, it will be launched in the coming months if everything goes smooth. Yeah, currently we're building the product, and then we also met a lot of like regulatory people to really ensure that we can really run whatever we want to offer to our customer, the leading Sharia challenger bank in Indonesia.
Well, these are great developments, and congratulations for that. It looks like you have some exciting projects in the pipeline. And it's good that you mentioned challenger banking, and maybe just for the benefit of our audience, I have some questions here that for those who are not familiar with the challenger banking, if you can further elaborate on what is challenger banking and what makes an Islamic challenger banking different from a conventional challenger banking.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way the easiest way to understand challenger bank is maybe you can think about digital bank. So it's fully digital. That there won't be any offline branches. So customer can create an account fully online under 5 minutes, something like that. So it's fully digital, and then it's one of a kind in Indonesia. We haven't seen anybody doing this. Hopefully we can be the first one to do that. And then digital banks in Indonesia is growing rapidly. I think in the last couple of months we see like three new players, but they don't do any Sharia product. They do like a conventional product. So after we do some research, there is huge need of people that wants to have the Sharia banks that is easy to use. So that's a bit about the challenger bank. If you want to imagine it, you can imagine a fully digital bank. So the way we operate will be very different with the conventional Islamic banks.
Thank you very much, and I guess we're all excited to see maybe potentially more branches of Islamic challenger banks, or maybe more representation in other countries, hopefully. And it's interesting that you mentioned your expansion plans, but one of the other considerations, of course, we spoke about the market demand, we spoke about the like the framework, we spoke about the talent need, and we spoke about also the trends in terms of sustainability. But how about the impact of the pandemic itself? Because we have noticed that the pandemic led to more stringent, one would say, lockdown measures, which reported in a way to higher transaction volumes in some of the digital services in general, and a lot of companies, a lot of institutions, and all have implemented changes to their existing products, to their policies and services, and everyone is talking about the new normal post-pandemic. So how did the pandemic impact your business specifically? And how did you see also the impact maybe in the Islamic fintech industry, or at least in Indonesia? And do you think what changes can we expect in the new normal, among the Islamic fintechs?
Okay, cool. So actually, during the very beginning of the pandemic situation, we got affected a lot. I think like our business metrics decreased a lot, but actually it only lasted for around 2-3 months. So actually like from that moment we see a surge of financing demand from our market, and then at the same time, because people were not really spending their money, they start to learn about investment. So like for example, millennials, I think it's quite different with a few years ago when people want to just like save their money in the banks. But nowadays, people want to invest. They learn a lot about investment. So it's huge opportunity, and then it really helped us to grow in the last couple of months. I think I also mentioned it earlier that in April this year, the total financing disbursement that we generate is basically way bigger than the entire 2019. So that shows that this pandemic helped us a lot. But but there is also a challenge because there are some industry that is quite risky for us in giving the financing, right? Like a tourism, like a hotel, something like that. Because nobody will stay at the hotels like during the pandemic. But hopefully, like after the pandemic ends, I mean, it can also become a huge opportunity because it's time to have these players in that specific industry to recover from that loss, right? So it means for us a way bigger opportunity. So it will help us a lot. And then we don't really we were not afraid that our customer will leave our product because currently they can spend more money because they can go everywhere and then do traveling and everything because like from our research most of our customers are stick to us. So like 60% of our customer, after they invest the money in this month, they will go back again in the next month. So it's becoming a trend right now in Indonesia. Like a lot of like new startups playing around the investment area. There are a lot of startups playing in the stock in the trading area, in the wealth management, etc. So I think it impact a lot during the very first month of pandemic, but at the same time, that is also give us the ability to grow significantly within the last couple of months. And then we're really looking forward for the post-pandemic situations. I think there are some industries that we can tap into. And then, of course, one of the most important thing is it's time for us to meet them face to face, right? Because currently the way we acquire our partners is through the online like meeting, like from the call. I think offline engagement, like meeting them in a large space like this will help us a lot to build a better partnership, and then of course to help them in growing the business, and then to help us in growing our business as well. So I think that's about it. I think post pandemic will definitely give us a new opportunity. I mean, I like to stay positive actually. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I don't like to use the word a blessing. In some cases, it was indeed like the pandemic was an opportunity, if I wouldn't use the word blessing, for some sectors or some companies that helped them clearly scale up their activities, like all the e-platforms and maybe some companies in the health sectors and all. And of course, you mentioned this is very interesting, like the way you meet with your clients and all. And clearly, the pandemic impacted the outreach strategies of companies. That everything now is online, which also might be a limitation in some cases for customers are not maybe familiar with digital tools and all. Although I don't think it's the case in Indonesia, because I think my last experience there is almost everyone has a smartphone and almost everyone is like familiar with the digital tools and all. But last question before, we can conclude the session is to talk about clearly in the audience. I'm sure we have with us also like young entrepreneurs or young graduates who also want to
of them are doing the Islamic finance. So they build like banks. They also do the wealth management. So Islamic finance will definitely be on the top of the list. And then the second one is related to the Islamic lifestyle, like a fashion, and then fashion, and then food and beverages. I think there is also a industry that is very huge in terms of like a demand. And then it's pretty. I mean, like the barrier to entry the industry is not that. I think the halal traveling is growing significantly. Even if you look at Thailand, I mean, there are a lot of like halal hotels. They provide 100% halal experience. Like even they have like two separate pools for different gender, for male and then female. So to sum up, those are three industry. When you as a potential entrepreneur that want if you're a young entrepreneur and want to build a business, so those are three industries that is pretty
potential in the next couple of years. First one is Islamic finance.
Then the second one is the lifestyle, the fashion and the food and beverages, or maybe even just like to give kind of like building the community around the Islamic community, yeah. And then the last one is the tourism. So that's from my point of view. I think those are three industries that will be huge in the next couple of years.
Thank you very much, Fiton. I just hope that we will not have an e-tourism with this pandemic. We clearly look forward to going back physically to the normal life. Thank you very much, Fiton, for your insights. And just to clarify to the audience, it's Fiton, the Chief Product Officer of Alami and not Dima. Unfortunately, we couldn't have Dima with us today, but we're very glad to hear the interesting insights about Alami, but also the Islamic fintech industry from Fiton. And we wish everyone a successful event, and please do enjoy the rest of the sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Really, we thank that experience we got today, and with us now, just give us some 2-3 minutes, and Mr. Abdullah will join us.